Alright folks, thank you so much for tuning in to your daily silver news. My name is Silver Slayer, and if you want the latest information of what's happening across the world and how that affects the price of precious metals, make sure you click subscribe. I will do all of the research for you and wrap it up in a shiny YouTube video. You don't got to do anything except click subscribe and enjoy the ride. Now, right now, we have a couple of different articles we're going to break down. Citibank sees $40 silver soon, but cautious on gold. Very interesting. This goes into the saying that I've always talked about where silver will start to take on a life of its own and won't always be following its older brother or cousin, which people say is gold. People call silver the poor man's gold, but no, there's nothing poor about silver. Now, we're also going to be covering this article, Indian investors flocking to silver. And there's one more article we might be able to squeeze in this video, and if not, I'll make this a separate video because this news is just as big, if not bigger itself, is silver might be benefiting from Russian central bank buying. Now, Russia's never focused on silver. Russia always focuses on other assets, but just a couple months ago, Putin announced he's focusing on silver. And China is as well, and India, like we're talking about in this video. It's so interesting how all of the countries in the BRICS nations are now focusing specifically on silver. Where did that come from? So, with that said, make sure you click subscribe. If you want to purchase some of this shiny stuff, then send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Slayer sent you. Andy Schectman's company, it's a very respected company, weekly specials, great company, very, very legit. They have a huge inventory. If you send an email to them, you will be responded with by a broker. You could say, what's the price sheet or what are this week's specials? You'll get the price sheet. There's several different ways to pay. It's just a good company. So info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Slayer sent you. And yeah, let's jump into this. Now, I did keep saying Citibank sees $40 silver. I saw right here, it says analysts at Citigroup. Now, they aren't the exact same, but they are related. Actually, Citigroup is the parent company. I'll actually pull it up right here. So yes, I just Googled this. Is Citigroup the same as Citibank? No, Citigroup and Citibank are not the same, but they are related. Citigroup is the parent company. So just to clear that up. So analysts at Citigroup see silver prices rallying beyond $40 an ounce in the coming months due to tightening physical supplies and growing investment demand. In a note published Wednesday, analysts led by Max Layton raised their 3-month silver price forecast from $38 to $40, citing the metal's strong fundamentals. They also upgraded silver's long-term outlook with a price target of $43 for the next 6 to 12 months. Quote, we expect silver availability to tighten on consecutive years of deficit, sticky stockholders requiring higher prices to sell, and robust investment demand, Citi analysts wrote. Silver's risen by more than 30% this year, outpacing its sister metal gold as investors seek to expand their exposure to safe haven assets in the midst of a global trade war. About half of silver's gains were recorded in June, during which the metal surpassed $39 an ounce for the first time since 2011 and ended the month 10% higher. Right now, silver sitting at $37.87. Take advantage of this slow pullback. Please take advantage of it, folks. And if you do, go to Miles Franklin. Support Andy Schectman and myself. Support real silver stackers. Don't just go to these big corporations. You know, Andy Schectman is helping the community. He's doing interviews all day long. Same with myself. You know, if you want to give back to the community, buy from places like Miles Franklin. So, yeah. Just a thought. I'm not saying you have to, but, you know, I would appreciate it. I put a lot of work into this, and, you know, it's nice to be able to pay my bills through helping people go to legit silver, you know, to buy from legit places, because this is my full-time job. And I want to keep it that way because I love what I do. So anyways, so here's a chart of what silver is doing. And yeah, commenting on the recent silver price rally, Citi analysts emphasize that it's not just a catch-up trade to gold, but also a reflection of strong silver fundamentals. Silver will also advance on the back of Fed cuts, the Citi analyst said, referring to expected monetary policy easing by the U.S. Federal Reserve. Then we have a gold warning. While a potential monetary easing would also support gold, Citi's more cautious on the traditional safe haven metal, which has rallied over 27% in 2025 on strong central bank buying and ETF exchange traded fund inflows. Quote, we continue to highlight our view that we may have seen gold price highs, the analyst wrote in the note, referencing the record high of $3,500 an ounce achieved back in April. The anticipated pullback in gold, as outlined in the bank's June report, stems from weakening investment demand, improving economic prospects, and anticipated U.S. interest rate cuts, of course. As such, the bank is maintaining its forecast of gold consolidating above $3,000 over the coming quarter, before declining below that level next year. In the second half of 2026, analysts, including Leighton, are predicting gold to fall further into the 2,700 range. Wow. So Citi is saying they see silver in the next 6 to 12 months going up to 43 plus, right? Where'd they say that? Right here, 43 plus for the next 6 to 12 months. But they see gold going backwards in the next 6 to 12 months, falling down to the $2,700 range. Like I was saying, silver taking on a life of its own. Regardless of what gold's doing, silver's going to do what it does. Regardless of what the dollar index is doing, silver's going to do what it does. Regardless of stock market volatility, regardless of everything else, because silver has value on its own. Silver's a big boy. It can handle itself. Regardless of what these other things are doing, why is silver pegged to gold's price when gold and silver have completely different uses? Doesn't make sense. And eventually that will fall apart and silver will take on a life of its own, and silver stackers will get the last laugh. And it's looking like that laugh is coming sooner than expected. Well, for some I wouldn't say sooner than expected, or some would say finally happening. Regardless, it's happening. Are you ready? Indian investors flocking to silver. There's a silver rush in India. Indians are known for stockpiling gold, but they are increasingly turning to silver as the price has pushed to 14-year highs. In rupee terms, silver set a record $114,875 per kilo, around $41 an ounce, as silver production shortfall in India has sent the price to a significant premium locally. In 2024, gold was king, with the price soaring 34% in rupee terms as silver charted a 23% gain. The script has flipped in recent months, with the local silver price up 21% over the last 3 months. That compares to a 5% rise in the price of gold through the same period. Unsurprisingly, Indian investors are hoping to cash in on silver's bullish run. Silver has traditionally been the choice for poor, budget-conscious rural consumers, but it has increasingly grabbed the attention of urban investors. And this is going to happen on a global scale, right? Everyone's going to want a slice of the silver pie, but there's just not going to be enough pie to go around. And when big tech realizes that, big companies like Tesla and all these, that's when we're going to start to see natural price appreciation, where silver's real value will start to shine. So, this guy, Chirag Thakkar, head of one of India's largest silver importers, says investor behavior has been different during this recent bull rally. Quote, usually investors cash in when prices hit record highs, offloading coins and bars or pulling out of ETFs. However, this time, even at record highs, people are investing rather than selling. And that is huge. That means people are starting to see silver's true value and understand that it's going to keep going higher, and understand that $34 for an ounce of silver is cheap, understanding that $39 for an ounce of silver is still cheap, and you still should be buying it at that price, because someday you're going to wish, in the future, you're going to wish you knew how to buy a time capsule and go back to the days where silver was only $39 an ounce and you could buy it there. Right now, it might seem like that's a high price, but someday you will be laughing, saying, I can't believe that I thought paying $39 an ounce was cheap or was expensive. I wish I could pay $39 for an ounce. Someday that will be said to yourself. Someday we will look back and wish we could go back to July 16th, 2025 and pay $37.80 for an ounce of silver. You will be wishing you could send an email to info@milesfranklin.com and let them know Silver Slayer sent you, and buy junk silver at spot price. Maybe that was our price, or that was last week's special, whatever it is, or buy American Eagles for great prices, or whatever, kilo bars, or whatever. We have everything. You'll be wishing you could send that email to them, which you can do right now. You still have, it's like we're from the future. We understand, we already know what's going to happen. It's like we're from the future. But anyways, if you do that, remember, let them know Slayer sent you. Helps me out. Even with the recent rally in silver, it remains historically underpriced based on both technical and supply and demand dynamics. For instance, the gold to silver ratio is hovering right around 87 to 1. In the modern area, the ratio is averaged closer to 60 to 1. In other words, even with the recent rally, silver is underpriced compared to gold. It's either silver's undervalued or gold is overvalued compared to silver. It's more like silver's undervalued, right? And if you know that something is overvalued over the value of something, then you wouldn't want to invest into that. You would want to invest in a thing that's undervalued, not overvalued, right? It makes sense. Not saying that gold isn't a great investment. It definitely is. Silver just has more potential. So anyways, folks, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I got some other stuff to still do. I will be covering this Russia situation. And remember, August 1st is a big day. Trump is pushing 30% tariffs on silver imports in Mexico and Europe, which could send silver skyrocketing. So look for the date August 1st. That's an important day. If you didn't see that video of me breaking that news, go check it out. My last 3, 4, or 5 videos have been very important. And it's stuff that I haven't really seen anyone else talk about. I'm talking about the BRICS meeting that happened July 6th and 7th. I'm talking about just a lot of stuff. I've been covering a lot of different areas, and it all ties into what's happening and what's about to happen. So don't miss out. Go check it out. I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.